Down the sideline, it's Deshaun Jackson, and in coverage, Trey Waynes. Winston scrambling to his right and throws it to the end zone. Mike Evans, touchdown! And Bernie, Trey Waynes. Vikings blitz on 3rd and long, and Winston in the pocket scrambling a bit, finds room, throws it up deep, and it's incomplete. But there's the flag. It's like pass interference on Trey Waynes. Yeah, we This just in. The Vikings have traded Trey Waynes for a bag of peanuts. Something tells me that first dream is a much more likely to happen. Anyways, what's going on, guys? It's JOZ, and we're going to talk about the Vikings versus Bucs this Sunday at noon. This is my game preview. So, I thought I'm still trying to find out my groove on this, which is weird enough, because I've been doing it for long enough. But I'm going to start with the injury report for both teams, because it's maybe the biggest news. And to start off with the Bucs, Quan Alexander, their stud linebacker, is out, so that helps the Vikings a lot. We're trying to run the ball. Also, Chris Baker, their number 2 defensive tackle, is also out. Jaquez Smith, their defensive end, is also out, so a lot of depth out too. And Brent Grimes, I think one of the better corners in the game. Maybe not top 10 anymore, but close. And he is doubtful for the game, so even if he does play, expect him to be limited. So that helps the Vikings out quite a bit. Gerald McCoy was also listed on the injury chart, but he had full participation for Friday. Devontae Bond, full participation. And their center, Kevin Pamphile, whoever that is, did not participate Friday, but he played the other ones. He had an illness for Friday. So, for the Vikings, the biggest news of the week, Sam Bradford is out. His knee problem is still acting up. He had limited participation Wednesday and Thursday. He did not participate on all Friday. That just tells me we wanted Keenum to have all the reps absolutely possible. He's out for Sunday. Jacob Ashton threw out a theory to me that it could be Sam Bradford's way of holding out to get this new contract. I find that a little bit unlikely, but I might do a video then on that in the upcoming weeks, in the upcoming days probably. Anthony Barr had limited participation all week, but then he had full participation Friday. I expect him in, and everybody else, same idea. Pat Elflein, Mackenzie Alexander, and Xavier Rhodes, they're all expected to be playing Sunday afternoon. So there we have it. So now let's look at the Buccaneers team, and for those that don't know, they're a team built defensively a lot like ours, a very strong front seven. Unfortunately enough, their starting Mike linebacker, Quan Alexander, is out. He's the second best defensive player on their team, behind Gerald McCoy, who's going to be giving the Vikings offensive line fits all day. For those that do not know anything about Gerald McCoy, he is, if not the best, he's probably the second best defensive tackle in the game, behind Aaron Donald. I'm a great football fan. I would never forget that because he is Pro Football Focus's #1 player. But Gerald McCoy, him, Linval Joseph, a couple other guys are in the mix. But he's without a doubt top 5. He's an amazing defensive tackle. And when we have Nick Easton, who struggled mightily last week at left guard, that's going to give the Vikings big holes. This will be a big chance for Pat Elflein to show that he's a stud center, and I think he will look pretty good because I think he was our, if not our best, our number 1 or 2 best offensive lineman last week. So despite everybody else looking bad, Pat Elflein is still looking like a stud, and he's a rookie. So shout outs to my boy Pat. So yeah, blocking Gerald McCoy is going to be a big key for this game because we're going to want to run the ball. They're stacked on their full defense. Looking at Robert Ayers, Gerald McCoy, I think it'll be Clinton McDonald filling in for Chris Baker, but might be a bit of rotation between him and Silga Seaver. But we have those two, Wilston Goldstein and the other defensive end, Kendall Beckwith. Now with Quan Alexander, Granton Adrius will be in there, and David Levante on the other linebacker spot. A lot of talent there for the linebackers, and a solid defensive backfield as well. But with some injuries, we should be okay with Vernon Hargraves probably pairing up on I'm not sure if he'll just take out the side of the field because Stephon Diggs and Thielen are about as high as a priority as far as stopping for their defense. But I think whoever he's on, just throw the other guy. We should have a successful day in the passing game. Unfortunately, we don't have our passer, so Case Keenum's going to really have to step up and show that he's a backup, good quality backup quarterback like I thought he is, for us the Vikings to have a fighting chance, because their defense is really good. They're going to get after him, and we're going to get a lot of pressure in our face. And he's going to be able to stand in the pocket, take a hit, and throw a good pass down the field. So the key to the Vikings offensively is going to be passing the ball. As much as I want the Vikings to run for 150 yards, keep the clock on our side, and let Dalvin Cook just absolutely run up the clock, I think we're going to have to pass the ball to open up the passing lanes, or the running lanes, for Dalvin, or hopefully a little bit more Latavius Murray. In my simulation, Dalvin Cook actually ran the ball all day on him, but I also had Sam Bradford playing, so what do I know about football? It's Madden after all. But I think if we can get good matchups on the outside, maybe Laquan Treadwell can look like to have a good day, because that is one guy that Keenum targeted a lot more than Sam Bradford really ever did. So I think if Treadwell can maybe get 80 yards, I think we have a good chance offensively to put up 28 points on their defense. But it's going to be a problem with their front four still being good, even without Chris Baker being their second defensive tackle. Gerald McCoy is enough of a one-man wrecking train to really get through our interior line and cause us trouble all day. So if we can find a way to block him and find mismatches on the outside, I think we'll have a very successful day on offense. But Gerald McCoy blocking is a very tough task. Now defensively for the Bucs, obviously, for those that were in my live stream of my simulation, or that watched this intro, Deshaun Jackson is easily my #1 concern on their offense. He hasn't really clicked so far with Jameis Winston, but he's a speedster that has some length to him, and it's going to be tough for us to cover him all day long. I'm thinking we'll probably have Trey Waynes on him unless he's finally in Mike Zimmer's doghouse. Deshaun Jackson's 5'10", 175 pounds, so a guy like Trey Waynes matches up good on him. He's just not very good with his coverage skills. I'd like to see Mackenzie Alexander go on him, but I don't think we're going to put him on the outside unless we finally activate Tremaine Brock. I think if Tremaine Brock plays, this will help out our defense significantly, and if we can pass the ball, Tremaine Brock plays as the level that we expect him to, I think we can very well win this game. That's going to be coming down to how we cover Deshaun Jackson, because Mike Evans, even though he's their stud receiver, an absolute animal, I think Xavier Rhodes is just as much of an animal, that we'll be able to shut him down. Maybe not under 80 yards, but I think that we have a very good matchup. Mike Evans on Xavier Rhodes, they match up almost perfectly on size. That's the type of guy that Xavier loves to match up on. He used to match up with Calvin Johnson when he was a rookie. He can handle Mike Evans and limit him to maybe 60 yards or so. So if we can do that, I think we can very well hand the Buccaneers an L. But it's going to be a really tough task of what we're going to do with Deshaun Jackson. If we're going to have Trey Waynes and man coverage and have a safety over the top, because we know it's a matter of time before Trey Waynes gets burned, and just tell with Trey, hey, don't grab. We'll have Andrew Sendejo over the top to tackle him right away. So give us a chance that's an incomplete pass, or Andrew Sendejo can hit him and knock the ball out, and hopefully don't get as many passing interference and holding penalties on our defense as we did last week. So down the line, their offensive line, as far as Madden told me, looked fairly average. The right tackle looks like their best player by far, Dodson. So maybe not a very good game again by Danielle Hunter, who needs to step up. The #1 player on our defense that needs to step up and have a good game. Live averages says he'll be getting lots of sacks soon. 12.5 sacks last year, not a single sack thus far this year in a starting role. Expect Danielle Hunter to heat up real quick. and get some sacks, because he's not a bad player. It's just the way football works sometimes. You aren't going to get constantly 1 or 2 sacks a game. You're going to roll up 3 sacks a game, then get a streak of a sack a game for 4 or 5 games, then be dead for a little bit. So expect Daniel Hunter to heat up real quick. Hopefully it's this game. Which brings me to my main point of keys for the Vikings winning the game. Stopping Deshaun Jackson, throwing the ball, and limiting penalties. And I think we'll have a very good chance of winning. A few other players to look that we can't underlook defensively for the Bucs. For their offense is their rookie tight end O.J. Howard and Blake Cameron, their veteran tight end. Both very good receiving tight ends. Will give the Vikings trouble all day if we can't figure out how to stop the interior of their passing attack to go along with their exterior, as their wide receivers will be burning some of our Trey Wayneses all day. But it comes down to what I said: stopping their pass game, limit it, don't give up many big plays, limit our penalties, and if our passing game can heat up the way it probably won't, we'll win. If Case Keenum didn't look like Sean Hill, I would have to lean more for the Vikings winning, but final game time decision, I just don't think the Vikings offense will do what it takes. I don't think Nick Easton can really step up and limit Gerald McCoy to even just 1 sack on the day. So I think it's going to be a big game for their front 7, and the Vikings will lose 31-21. Hopefully this doesn't happen. Hopefully the first nightmare isn't true. And if you guys have some more hopeful words than I do, put them in the comment section down below. But I just don't think the Vikings, unless Zimmer really schemes to stop Deshaun Jackson and somehow keep their tight ends in check, and Xavier Rhodes has his A game versus Mike Evans, I just think they have mismatches on us. So if you guys think we have a better chance than I do, in the comment section down below, tell me. We're at home, so I don't think it'll be a blowout by any means. I think we'll keep it close. Case will look better than he did last week, so it might be even closer than I think. But I think the Bucs have this one. Don't worry, season's not over. Teddy's coming back soon, we all hope, and hopefully Sam does as well. So anyways, this is JDoZ. We'll see you guys in the next JDoZ Vikings video.